Carried usually by these African descendant males in the Via Media community, and they have been obligated generation after generation to pass this music on to their kids and their cousins, and the religious structure gives it a little bit more documentation relative to other genres that maybe just passed it on as an oral tradition.
Yeah, because it's an oral tradition that people just like send to each other and like generations to generations and stuff.
And sometimes they say words in African languages that they don't even know what they mean, but they just keep the tradition.
And one of the reasons is north to the city, it's because the first settlement of African slaves was like in the colony, right, in the city. But when they fled free, they went maroons, that they would escape the plantations. They would go north and heights to the mountains. So it's like a whole plain, which is called like La Sabana del Espíritu Santo, the Holy Spirit Savannah or Holy Spirit field that you can like go to and find out like all these different traditions. And like you put it like more in the context of nowadays things like it's Congo and it's named because it came from a tribe back in West Africa, which is Congo as well. And they have like a oral tradition and a whole culture, same as Yoruba, have like a different culture. So there's this the basic rhythm. I think we think it's really simple, but that simple rhythm like in music, in polyrhythmic music, there's something called la clave, which is Afro-Cuban music, and all drum patterns have this like synthesized single simple pattern that like it conglomerates all the information. It's like a synthesis to all the stuff. So it's that same like Afro-Cuban has like so. This particular has that cell rhythm that builds the whole thing, and it has a similar clave, like tac, 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 tac. But what the whole point here is that nowadays with reggaeton music that everybody knows, like it has an accent that it has that same rhythm cell that it's built to nowadays Latin modern pop, which is so it's like the same, and we have a very a teacher of us all. It's called Dulu. He's a person that has been studied the patterns and going to the fields as a first research assignment, and he has found that the same rhythm cell is also present like in Panama or other places in Latin America that came the people from Congo, and they built these communities. So we have heritage in all of those places, but this specific manifestations, since it's a broader one, it's a funeral one. But to put it more like in a context, it's about the whole thing that came back from Congo culture.
And I guess, one more thing I'd want to note is that in this Afro-Dominican music, it's not just the rhythm that matters, because there's very particular ways that we touch the drum. For example, in that bass, if you could do it a little bit, Said, it's not an open slap, it's not a closed slap or open tone. You have to like hit the rim, and you're getting this ding, 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 ding.
Like the pitch contrast.
And if you're not getting that sound, that specific timbre out of the drum, which you usually do with one or two fingers near the rim, but not quite on the rim either, and people will tell you you're playing it wrong. And I think that also has a really unique element that people lose when they try to translate to, let's say, electronic music, and they just recreate the rhythm, like, okay, let's make it dum 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 dum. But it's like, no, it's not that. It's the specific sound you can bring out of the drum through that specific way of touching it. mentioned the Meniel family. That's a big one. Los Morenos is another one of these big families. And we're talking big families of like 40, 50, 60 people, all related by blood, who play these rhythms and carry them on from generation to generation. Now, between those families, they'll usually have slight variations in how they play them, and they'll pass on that slight variation to their next of kin. Exactly. So the Meniel family has their own slight touch to it, but it's still the same basic rhythm.
And we insist that there's not official writings about it. It's just oral, everything, until 400 years after. And there's something that, like the status quo, the Dominican establishment have accepted yet 500 years after. They're like maroons from the fields.
I want to just say something that you should also mention that there's just 21 chants. We just stayed
21 chants.
Marco, yo me lo perdí eso que todavía.
So let's play another rhythm that is from a different part of the So el coro, the chorus is like que amanezca, si quiere amanecer. So let's practice it. It's like ya quiere amanecer, oh, que amanezca, si quiere amanecer. Ya cantaron los gallos, ya quiere amanecer, ya quiere amanecer, ya quiere amanecer, oh, que amanezca, si quiere amanecer. Ya cantaron los gallos, ya quiere amanecer. Tabaco nada más. Pregunta. Fuma lo bueno nada más. Fuma tabaco nada más. Flores. Fuma lo bueno nada más. Flores. Fuma tabaco nada más. Fuma lo bueno nada más.
In Catholic language, in Catholic rituals. So for example, this music, one of the reasons it's so special is because you can only find it during its local context a few days of the year in one single city of the whole country. And if you don't know what those like 3 or 4 days of the year are, then you just miss it. You just can't see it.
Next year.
Next year, exactly. And this music is usually played to San Juan Bautistas, John the Baptist, I believe. And that image of John the Baptist is like integral to this music, but it's also obviously representing deeper African spirituality.
The same happened in Brazil and Cuba and all the different, because they had to hide their true religions and beliefs because of the.
And that was a way so they would allow to, participate in these cultures.
We see the same in Santeria in Cuba, even in Voodoo in Haiti. The dominance of like an Afro-Catholicism is very prominent throughout. Exactly. Really hear the music for a week long, like really for almost 7 days. The music is always going to be sounding somewhere, and it's a processional music as well, so people will march literally from village to village with their band, playing this music through the sugarcane fields. And yeah, that's Gaga. What do you?
Also, it's the music that impulsed the first revolution, the first African descendant revolution of this of the Americas,
Hemisphere.
of this soul side of the hemisphere. That's the music that proposed it, that made it advance. Also, there's this very beautiful mythology about how African slaves learned from indigenous from here, the Taínos, how to use the acoustics of the mountains in a way that in some plantations, because the fact is that when the revolution happened, they used the acoustics of the mountains, and they would sound like they were coming from over here with this music, yeah, the music that we were playing right now, but actually they were coming from behind. So this is mythology. This is hearsay kind of stories. You know what I'm saying? But it's my favorite shit because it's warrior music. This is warrior music. This is fire music. We sing a lot. We sing a lot to fire. We sing a lot to sex. We sing a lot to fertility.
Part of the mythology is that it's the literal music that was played during the Haitian Revolution as well. Like the marching militaries would play this as their kind of marching band music as they went to war with the French. That's part of at least the mythological roots of the music.
Cotidiano aconteciendo mini, que si yo digo esto va a coger, ustedes dicen fuego va a coger, va a coger. Si yo digo esto va a coger, ustedes dicen fuego va a coger, va a coger. Si yo digo esto va a coger, ustedes dicen fuego va a coger, va a coger.